Captain Sarah Chen stared at the message on her screen for the third time. The orders were simple but strange. Go to Sector 7 Alpha, find the old ship. Bring it back. What made it strange was who sent it. The orders came from Earth Command itself, not her usual bosses at the salvage company. Sarah had been running salvage operations for 10 years. She knew how to find dead ships and bring them home. But this felt different. The coordinates led to empty space far from any trade routes. No one went there. No one had reason to. Captain, we're almost at the jump point, said Marcus, her pilot. He was young but good at his job. Sarah trusted him to fly the salvage ship Recovery through dangerous places. Good. Take us in slow. I want full scans of everything. Sarah walked to the bridge window. Space looked the same everywhere, but something felt wrong about this mission. Earth Command never sent salvage crews directly. They always went through the company. The jump to Sector 7 Alpha took 6 hours. When they came out of hyperspace, Sarah's scanner operator, Elena, started shouting, "Captain, you need to see this." Elena's voice was high with excitement. There's something huge out there. Really huge. Sarah looked at the main screen. At first she saw nothing but stars. Then the computer highlighted something in the distance. It was big. Bigger than any ship Sarah had ever seen. How big is it? Sarah asked. 12 kilometers long, 4 kilometers wide. Captain, that's bigger than our biggest space stations. Elena's hands moved quickly over her controls. And Captain, it's not showing up on any ship records. This design doesn't match anything in our database. Sarah felt cold. Ships that big cost more than some planets. You didn't lose track of them. What about power readings? That's the weird part. I'm getting small energy signals, like it's sleeping, not dead. Marcus turned from his pilot seat. Captain, with respect, maybe we should call this in. That thing could be dangerous. Sarah thought about her orders. Bring it back. But how do you bring back something that size? Take us closer. Nice and slow. If anything changes, we run. The Recovery moved toward the massive ship. As they got closer, Sarah could see it better. The ship was dark gray, almost black. It had smooth lines but looked tough, like it was built for war. Strange symbols covered the hull. They looked almost human, but not quite right. Captain, Elena said quietly. I'm scanning those symbols. The computer says they're human writing. Old human writing. But that's impossible. Why impossible? Because this ship design is older than human spaceflight. According to my scans, this thing was built at least 500 years ago. But humans only got to space 200 years ago. Sarah felt that cold feeling again. Something was very wrong here. Are you sure about those readings? I've checked 3 times. Captain, there's something else. I'm picking up air inside that ship and heat. Someone or something is alive in there. Sarah made a decision that would change everything. We're going aboard. Marcus, take us to their docking bay. I can see one on the side. Captain, are you sure about this? Marcus asked. No, but we have orders. Sarah turned to her team. Elena, you're with me. Marcus, keep the engines warm. If we don't come back in 2 hours, go home and report what you found. The docking bay was huge and empty. Their small shuttle looked like a toy inside it. Sarah and Elena put on their spacesuits and stepped out. The gravity worked, which was another sign that the ship had power. The airlock was human-sized, which made sense if the ship really was human. But the controls were strange, old. They took several minutes to figure out how to open the door. Inside, the corridor was dark except for small lights on the floor. The air was good, so Sarah took off her helmet. The ship smelled old but clean, like it had been waiting for someone to come home. Captain, look at this. Elena pointed to writing on the wall. It was in English, but the style was old. Prometheus Unbound, Deck 7, Command Section. Prometheus Unbound, Sarah said the name out loud. Never heard of it. They walked through the corridors. The ship felt huge inside. They passed rooms full of equipment they didn't recognize. Everything looked advanced but old at the same time, like someone had built tomorrow's technology yesterday. Finally, they found the bridge. It was enormous. The captain's chair sat in the center, surrounded by control stations. Everything was powered down but not dead. Sarah sat in the captain's chair. As soon as she did, lights came on all around the bridge. Computer screens lit up. A voice spoke from speakers in the walls. Human genetic pattern confirmed. Command codes accepted. Welcome aboard, Captain. Sarah jumped up. Who said that? I am Archon, ship's artificial intelligence. I have been waiting for a human captain to return. Elena grabbed Sarah's arm. Captain, we should go. Right now. But Sarah was curious. Archon, how long have you been waiting? 437 years, 2 months, 16 days. That's impossible. Humans didn't have ships like this 400 years ago. Captain, you are incorrect. Humans built this ship during the war with the Devourers. We were the flagship of the human empire. Sarah felt dizzy. There was no human empire. Captain, your records have been altered. The truth was hidden for the safety of the galaxy. But now the safety protocols have been triggered. The ancient enemy stirs again. More lights came on around the bridge. Through the windows, Sarah could see gun turrets the size of buildings. Weapon systems that looked like they could crack planets. This wasn't just a ship. It was a weapon of war. Archon, show me the ship's logs. Are you certain, Captain? The truth may be difficult to accept. Show me. A holographic display appeared in the air. Sarah saw images of space battles that looked like wars between gods. Human ships fighting against dark things that ate stars. She saw Earth at the center of an empire that spread across the galaxy. Then she saw the end. Humans winning but paying a terrible price, choosing to forget their victory to bring peace to the galaxy. The Prometheus Unbound was hidden here as a failsafe. Archon explained. If the Devourers ever returned, a human captain would find this ship and remember what we once were. Elena was staring at the displays. Captain, we need to report this. Earth Command needs to know. Yes, Sarah said slowly. But who do we report it to? If this is true, if humans really did rule the galaxy, then someone worked very hard to make us forget. Captain, Archon's voice was urgent now. I am detecting ships approaching. They are not human. Sarah looked at the main screen. 12 alien ships were coming toward them. Fast. Are they friendly? She asked, unknown. But Captain, they are powering weapons. Sarah had to make a choice. Run away and report what she found or stay and learn more. The approaching ships made the choice for her. Archon, can this ship defend itself? Captain, the Prometheus Unbound can defend against entire fleets, but using our weapons will announce our presence to the galaxy. Are you prepared for those consequences? Sarah looked at the approaching ships. She thought about her orders. Bring it back. Maybe that meant bringing back more than just a ship. Maybe it meant bringing back the truth. Power up the ship, Archon. Let's see what we're really dealing with. Powering up all systems. Welcome back to the war, Captain. The Prometheus Unbound came alive around Sarah like a sleeping giant opening its eyes. Every surface began to glow with soft blue light. The bridge transformed from an empty tomb into a command center that hummed with power. Sarah felt the deck vibrate under her feet as massive engines started warming up. Captain, Archon's voice filled the bridge. All primary systems are now online. Weapons, shields, and engines are ready. The ship is yours to command. Elena grabbed the nearest wall for support. Through the bridge windows, they could see gun turrets the size of city blocks turning toward the approaching alien ships. Each weapon looked like it could destroy a moon. Archon, exactly how powerful is this ship? Sarah asked. The Prometheus Unbound carries weapons that can destroy star systems. Our shields can survive the death of stars. Our engines can tear holes in space itself to travel instantly anywhere in the galaxy. Sarah felt sick. That's impossible. Nothing can be that powerful. Captain, your people built this ship when they ruled half the galaxy. The technology exists because it had to exist. The Devourers could only be stopped by weapons that broke the laws of physics. The alien ships were getting closer. Sarah could see them clearly now on the main screen. They looked sleek and dangerous, but tiny compared to the Prometheus Unbound. Like wolves approaching a sleeping dragon. Captain Chen, a new voice came over the ship's communication system. It sounded like it came from the alien ships. This is Commander Velka of the Galactic Council. You are ordered to power down immediately and prepare to be boarded. Sarah looked at Elena, who shook her head quickly. Captain, we don't answer to any Galactic Council. We're human citizens. Archon, what's the Galactic Council? A coalition of alien species that has maintained peace in the galaxy for 3 centuries. They were created after the human empire voluntarily disbanded. They do not know that humans once ruled them. Commander Velka's voice came again, more urgent now. Captain Chen, our sensors show you have activated weapons of impossible power. Such technology is illegal under galactic law. Surrender now and avoid bloodshed. Sarah realized the trap she was in. If she surrendered, they would take humanity's greatest weapon. If she fought, she would start a war. But there was a third option. Open a channel to their ships, Archon. Channel open, Captain. Commander Velka, this is Captain Sarah Chen of the human vessel Prometheus Unbound. We claim this ship under human salvage laws. You have no authority here. Captain Chen, you do not understand. The weapons on that ship violate every galactic treaty. No species is allowed to possess such power. Then you're going to have a problem, Sarah said. Because this ship is human technology and we're taking it home. Elena pulled Sarah aside and whispered, Captain, we're starting an incident here. Maybe we should just give them the ship. Sarah looked around the bridge. Everything about it felt right, like she belonged here. Like humans belonged here. Elena, if we give up this ship, we give up the truth. Someone erased our history. I want to know why. Captain, Archon interrupted. The alien ships are powering weapons. Recommend raising shields. Do it. A shimmering barrier appeared around the Prometheus Unbound. The alien ships fired immediately. Bright energy beams struck the shields and vanished like raindrops hitting a mountain. The massive human ship didn't even shake. Their weapons cannot penetrate our shields, Archon reported calmly. Should I return fire? No, not yet. Sarah opened the channel again. Commander Velka, you just fired on a human ship. That's an act of war. Captain Chen, you leave us no choice. That ship is too dangerous to exist. We cannot allow any species to possess such weapons. Sarah felt anger building inside her. These aliens were trying to steal humanity's greatest achievement and calling them criminals for defending it. Archon, send them our ship's historical records. Show them who built this ship and when. Sending now, Captain. There was silence from the alien ships for several minutes. Sarah could imagine them trying to process the information. Finally, Commander Velka spoke again. Her voice sounded different now. Scared. This cannot be accurate. Humans are a young species. You have only had spaceflight for 2 centuries. Apparently, we've had spaceflight a lot longer than that, Sarah replied. And we built ships that could destroy your entire fleet without breaking a sweat. Captain, Archon said quietly. More ships are approaching. 67 vessels of various alien species. This appears to be a major fleet response. Sarah's heart sank. 12 ships she might have been able to reason with. Nearly 70 ships meant the aliens were planning to destroy the Prometheus Unbound no matter what. Archon, can we outrun them? Captain, this ship can travel faster than any vessel in the galaxy. However, running will only delay the confrontation. They will pursue us wherever we go. Elena was studying the tactical display. Captain, look at this. These aren't just military ships. I see science vessels, communication ships, even some that look like mobile factories. They're not here to fight. They're here to study us. Or capture us, Sarah said grimly. Archon, what happens if they manage to board this ship and study our technology? They would gain access to weapons capable of destroying all life in the galaxy. The knowledge contained in this ship's computers could turn any species into galactic conquerors. Sarah understood now why the aliens were so afraid. The Prometheus Unbound wasn't just a powerful ship. It was a library of the most dangerous knowledge in the galaxy. In the wrong hands, it could end everything. Captain, Archon continued, there is something else you must know. The activation of this ship's systems has sent out signals across the galaxy. Other human failsafe systems are beginning to respond. But more importantly, something else has noticed the signals. What do you mean? The Devourers, Captain. Our ancient enemy. They went dormant after the war, but they were never truly defeated. The energy signature of this ship awakening has reached the edge of the galaxy where they sleep. They are beginning to stir. Sarah felt the blood drain from her face. How long do we have? Based on historical data, the first Devourer scouts will arrive within days. The main swarm will follow within months. Commander Velka's voice cut through the conversation. Captain Chen, our science teams have analyzed your historical data. If this information is accurate, then our entire understanding of galactic history is wrong. It's accurate, Sarah replied. The question is, what are you going to do about it? We are prepared to offer you terms. Surrender the ship, and humans will be granted full membership in the Galactic Council. You will have a voice in galactic affairs. Sarah almost laughed. You're offering to make us junior partners in ruling the galaxy we used to own? That's generous of you. Captain, be reasonable. No single species can be allowed to possess such power. It threatens the balance that has kept peace for centuries. What if I told you that balance is about to be shattered anyway? Sarah asked. What if I told you that humanity's old enemy is waking up and this ship is the only thing that can stop them? Silence from the alien fleet. Archon, send them the historical data about the Devourers. Sending now, Captain. This time the silence lasted much longer. When Commander Velka finally spoke, her voice was barely a whisper. The Devourers are real? Very real. And according to our ship's AI, they're waking up because we powered up this ship. The galaxy is going to need every weapon it can get. Captain Chen, if what you say is true, then we need to work together. But that ship, the weapons on it could destroy entire star systems. How can we trust any species with that much power? Sarah looked around the bridge of the Prometheus Unbound. She thought about humanity's history, the empire they had built and then given up for peace. Maybe that was the answer. Commander Velka, humans built this ship to protect the galaxy, not conquer it. When the war was over, we gave up our empire and chose to forget our power. We did that once. We can do it again if necessary. And if we refuse to trust you? Sarah looked at the tactical display showing dozens of alien ships surrounding them. She thought about the Devourers stirring at the edge of the galaxy. She thought about Earth, defenseless and unaware of what was coming. Then we're all going to die, she said simply, because when the Devourers come, this ship might be the only thing standing between them and every living world in the galaxy. The alien fleet held position, weapons trained on the Prometheus Unbound. Sarah waited for their answer, knowing that the next few minutes would determine the fate of every species in the galaxy. The answer came in the form of weapons fire, shields under attack. Archon announced as energy beams from 70 alien ships struck the Prometheus Unbound. The massive human vessel barely trembled under the assault, shield strength at 98%. Their weapons are insufficient to cause meaningful damage. Sarah watched the tactical display in horror. The aliens had made their choice. They would rather destroy humanity's greatest weapon than trust humans to use it properly. Captain, Elena said urgently, we need to get out of here, now. Agreed. Sarah sat in the captain's chair. Archon, take us out of here. Best speed. Where would you like to go, Captain? Sarah thought quickly. Earth was too obvious. They would be followed there. But she needed somewhere safe to figure out what to do next. Take us to the outer rim. Find somewhere we can hide and think. Initiating hyperspace jump. Space around them twisted and bent. The alien fleet vanished as the Prometheus Unbound leaped across the galaxy in seconds. When normal space returned, they were floating near a red dwarf star in an empty system. Jump complete, Archon reported. We are now 3,000 light-years from our previous position. Elena collapsed into a nearby chair. Captain, what have we gotten ourselves into? Before Sarah could answer, alarms started blaring across the bridge. Captain, I am detecting multiple hyperspace signatures, Archon announced. The alien fleet has followed us. How is that possible? Unknown. However, they are emerging from hyperspace now. The alien ships appeared around them like angry wasps, but something was different. There were more of them now. Sarah counted over 200 vessels on the tactical display. Captain Chen, Commander Velka's voice came over the communication system. This ends now. You cannot run forever. Watch me, Sarah muttered. Archon, another jump. Take us somewhere they can't follow. Captain, may I suggest an alternative approach? What do you mean? This ship possesses weapons that could end this pursuit permanently. The alien fleet cannot harm us, but we could destroy them all with minimal effort. Sarah felt sick at the suggestion. No, we're not murderers. Captain, they are hunting us across the galaxy. They will not stop until they have taken this ship or destroyed it. Elena looked at Sarah with frightened eyes. Maybe Archon is right. If we don't stop them, they'll keep coming. There has to be another way. Sarah studied the tactical display. An idea began forming in her mind. Archon, can you disable their ships without destroying them? Yes, Captain. The ship's ion cannons can shut down their power systems without causing permanent damage. Do it. Targeting alien fleet. Firing ion cannons, blue beams lanced out from the Prometheus Unbound. Each beam struck an alien ship, and one by one their lights went out. Within minutes, the entire fleet was floating dead in space. Fleet disabled, Archon reported. All vessels are without power but intact. Sarah opened a communication channel. Commander Velka, can you hear me? Static came over the speakers, then Velka's voice, weaker now. We can hear you. Your ships are disabled but undamaged. Your crews are safe. I could have destroyed you all, but I didn't. Does that tell you anything about human intentions? It tells me you are more dangerous than we thought. You could have killed us all. Sarah felt frustrated. That's exactly the point. We could have, but we didn't. Humans had the power to rule the galaxy, but we chose peace instead. We gave up our empire to bring stability to everyone, and now you want it back. No, I want to protect it. Sarah stood up from her chair. Archon, show them the edge of the galaxy. Show them what's coming. The main screen shifted to display long-range sensor data. At first it looked empty. Then Archon highlighted something in the darkness between galaxies. Dark shapes were moving, thousands of them, getting closer. The Devourer scouts, Archon explained. They will arrive in 48 hours. The main swarm follows behind them. Sarah heard gasps from the alien communication channel. Commander Velka, those are your species' nightmares made real. The things that ate civilizations before humans stopped them, and they're coming back. This could be a trick, Velka said, but her voice lacked conviction. Then don't take my word for it. Send your own ships to verify, but do it fast because we don't have much time. Captain, Archon interrupted, more ships are approaching. Much larger fleet this time. Sarah's heart sank as she saw the new arrivals on the tactical display. Over 1,000 ships of every alien species in the galaxy. Massive battle cruisers, carrier vessels, and weapon platforms that could crack planets. This is Grand Admiral Kesek of the Hegemony Fleet. A new voice announced. This one sounded harder, more military. Captain Chen, you are commanded to surrender immediately or face complete destruction. Admiral, this is Captain Chen. I assume Commander Velka has told you about the Devourers? The commander has told us many things. Fantastic stories about ancient wars and galactic empires. We are not interested in your lies. Sarah looked at Elena, who was staring at the tactical display with wide eyes. 1,000 ships. Even the Prometheus Unbound might not survive against odds like that. Archon, can we fight them? The ship's weapons are sufficient to destroy their entire fleet. However, doing so would confirm their fears about human aggression. Additionally, we would be destroying the galaxy's only defense against the Devourers. Sarah realized the impossible situation she was in. If she fought, she proved the aliens were right to fear humanity. If she didn't fight, they would take the only weapon capable of stopping the coming invasion. Admiral Kesek, I'm going to send you coordinates. Send a fast ship to those coordinates and see what you find there. We are not interested in your delays. You have 1 minute to surrender. Then you're going to get your people killed for nothing. Sarah turned to Archon. Send them the coordinates where the Devourer scouts will emerge. Maybe seeing the enemy will change their minds. Coordinates transmitted. 50 seconds, Captain Chen. Sarah watched the countdown on her screen. When it reached 0, nothing happened. Then Admiral Kesek's voice came back, confused. Captain Chen, our scouts report massive energy signatures at the coordinates you provided. Unknown vessel configurations. What are we looking at? Your death, Admiral. Unless we work together. The communication channel exploded with chatter as alien commanders talked to their scouts. Sarah could hear fragments of panicked reports. Ships the size of moons. Weapons that ate energy. Technology that defied understanding. Captain Chen, Admiral Kesek's voice was different now. Scared. Our scouts confirm unknown hostiles at the galactic edge. Large numbers. Moving toward inhabited systems. Those are Devourer scouts, Admiral. Each one can destroy a solar system. The main swarm behind them can devour planets in hours. If this is true, why should we trust you? How do we know you won't use that ship to conquer us after the threat is gone? Sarah thought about the question. It was fair. If humans had once ruled the galaxy, what would stop them from doing it again? Then she remembered what Archon had told her about humanity's choice. Admiral, pull up your historical records. Look for any mention of the Terran War archives. Silence for several minutes. Then Admiral Kesek spoke quietly. There are sealed files, ancient protocols that mention human oversight of galactic security. But the records are incomplete. They were made incomplete on purpose. Humans chose to erase their own history to bring peace. We gave up power to create the galactic community you know today. And if we trust you now, Sarah looked around the bridge of the Prometheus Unbound. She thought about her orders from Earth Command. Bring it back. Maybe those orders meant more than just the ship. Then we save everyone together. And when it's over, humans will make the same choice we made before. We'll give up this power again. You would do that? Surrender the most powerful weapon in the galaxy? Admiral, humans didn't build this ship to rule the galaxy. We built it to protect the galaxy. That's what we're going to do. The communication channel was quiet for a long time. Sarah could imagine the alien leaders arguing among themselves. Finally, Admiral Kesek spoke. Captain Chen, we will give you a chance. But understand this, if you betray our trust, every species in the galaxy will hunt you until you are destroyed. Understood, Admiral. Now let's go save everyone. Sarah looked at the tactical display showing the approaching Devourer scouts. In 48 hours, the real war would begin. But for the first time since finding the Prometheus unbound, she felt hope. They weren't facing this alone anymore. Archon, set course for the Galactic Edge. It's time to remind the Devourers why they should fear humanity. Course set, Captain. All ships report ready to follow. The combined fleet of human and alien vessels jumped toward their destiny. The combined fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the galaxy, and Sarah immediately understood why her ancestors had needed to build ships like the Prometheus Unbound. The Devourer scouts filled the view screen like a plague of metal locusts. Each one was the size of a moon, covered in spinning rings of dark matter that bent light around them. They moved through space like living things, extending tendrils that reached toward distant stars. Where those tendrils touched, the stars began to dim. My God, Elena whispered. They're eating the light from stars. Not eating, Archon corrected grimly. Consuming. The Devourers break down all matter and energy into fuel for their swarm. They leave nothing behind but empty space. Admiral Keswick's voice came over the communication channel, tight with fear. Captain Chen, our weapons cannot even scratch those things. How did humans ever defeat them? Sarah stared at the approaching scouts. There were dozens of them, each one capable of destroying entire solar systems. Behind them, long-range sensors showed the main swarm. Thousands upon thousands of world killers stretching back into the darkness between galaxies. Archon, show them the truth. All of it. Show them what humans really were. Are you certain, Captain? Once this knowledge is released, it cannot be contained. Do it. The communication channels of every ship in the fleet suddenly filled with data. Historical records that had been hidden for centuries. Images of battles that had decided the fate of the galaxy. The true story of humanity's golden age. Sarah watched the main screen as it displayed the forgotten history. She saw human fleets that numbered in the millions, space stations the size of planets, weapons that could make stars explode or freeze time itself. Humans had not just ruled the galaxy. They had been its gods. The records showed the war against the Devourers. The first invasion had caught the galaxy unprepared. Entire species vanished in days. Civilizations that had existed for millions of years were consumed like insects. Only the humans had the technology and will to fight back. The war lasted centuries. Humans developed weapons that broke the laws of physics. They built ships that could exist in multiple dimensions at once. They created artificial intelligences that could think faster than light itself traveled. And slowly, impossibly, they began to win. The final battle, Archon narrated as the images continued, took place at the galactic core. Humans sacrificed entire fleets to drive the Devourers back into dark space. The cost was enormous. Trillions of humans died, but the galaxy was saved. The records showed the aftermath. A galaxy in ruins, saved but broken, and then something that made Sarah's heart swell with pride. The human survivors chose peace over domination. They dismantled their empire, scattered their people, and erased their own history. They became gardeners instead of gods, watching over younger species while pretending to be one themselves. We did that, Sarah said quietly. Humans saved the galaxy and then gave it back to everyone else. The communication channels erupted with chatter from alien commanders. Fear, disbelief, and slowly understanding. Commander Velka's voice cut through the noise. The records are authentic. Our historians have verified them against our oldest archives. Everything matches. Humans really did save us all. And then forgot about it, Admiral Keswick added with something like wonder in his voice. They chose to become weak to give the rest of us strength. Captain, Archon interrupted, the Devourer scouts are approaching firing range. Recommend all ships take defensive positions behind the Prometheus Unbound. Sarah looked at the tactical display. The alien fleet, impressive as it was, looked tiny compared to the approaching scouts. Their most powerful weapons would barely scratch the ancient enemy. All ships move behind us, Sarah ordered. We'll protect you as long as we can. The alien fleet repositioned itself behind the massive human ship. Sarah felt the weight of their trust. They were putting their faith in humanity again, just as their ancestors had centuries ago. The first Devourer scout opened fire. A beam of pure darkness lanced out, striking the Prometheus Unbound's shields. The ship shook and warning lights flashed across the bridge. Shields at 70%, Archon reported. Their weapons have improved since the last war. More scouts joined the attack. Dark energy beams hammered against the human ship's defenses. Sarah watched the shield's strength dropping steadily. Return fire, she ordered. The Prometheus Unbound unleashed its weapons. Beams of twisted space-time struck the lead scout, tearing through its dark matter armor. For a moment, Sarah thought they had won. Then the scout began to regenerate, its wounds healing as it consumed energy from nearby space. They've adapted, Archon said. Our weapons are less effective than they were during the original war. How much less effective? Current weapons will require sustained fire to destroy each scout. We have ammunition for perhaps 6 engagements before depletion. Sarah felt cold. There were dozens of scouts with thousands more behind them. How long until the main swarm arrives? 6 hours, Captain. Elena grabbed Sarah's arm. Captain, we can't win this fight. Not like this. Sarah looked at the tactical display again. The alien fleet was trying to help, but their weapons couldn't even penetrate the scout's armor. Everything depended on the Prometheus Unbound, and it wasn't enough. Then an idea came to her. A desperate, impossible idea. Archon, are there other human ships? Other weapons like us hidden in the galaxy? Yes, Captain. 17 failsafe vessels remain in various hidden locations. However, they are all powered down and would require human crews to activate. Can you send them our activation signal? Wake them all up at once? Yes, but Captain, those ships have no crews. They would be automatic systems only. Then we give them crews. Sarah turned to the communication panel. All ships, I need volunteers. We're about to attempt something that will either save the galaxy or get us all killed. What do you need, Captain? Admiral Kesek asked. I'm going to transmit coordinates to 17 hidden locations. Each location has a human ship similar to this one, but smaller. I need your best crews to take those ships and learn to use them. Fast. Captain, our people don't know human technology. Then they'll learn or we all die together. Sarah looked at Archon. Can you create basic training programs? Something that will teach them to fight these ships? Yes, Captain. I can download tactical knowledge directly into their minds. It will be painful but effective. Do it. Sarah opened channels to the entire fleet. All ships, we're sending you coordinates and training programs. Get to those ships, learn to use them, and get back here in 4 hours. The main swarm will arrive in 6 hours. If we're going to stop them, we need every weapon we can get. Captain Chen, Commander Velka said, you're asking us to trust human technology with our lives. I'm asking you to help save your own lives. And everyone else's. The alien fleet began dispersing to the coordinates Archon had transmitted. Sarah watched them go, knowing she was gambling the fate of the galaxy on trust between species that had been enemies an hour ago. Captain, Archon said quietly, there is something else. The Prometheus Unbound has one final weapon, something that could destroy the entire Devourer swarm in a single attack. What kind of weapon? A galactic-scale reality disruptor. It would create a wave of altered physics that would unmake every Devourer in existence. Sarah felt hope rising in her chest. That's perfect. Why didn't you mention it before? Because using it would also destroy the Prometheus Unbound and everything within 1,000 light-years. Including Earth. Sarah's hope died. So we can save the galaxy by destroying ourselves. Yes, Captain. That was always the final failsafe. If all else failed, humans were prepared to sacrifice themselves to stop the Devourers. Sarah looked out at the approaching scouts, then at the empty space where the alien fleet had been. In 4 hours, they would return with human weapons in the desperate hope that it would be enough. In 6 hours, they would face the main Devourer swarm. She thought about Earth, peaceful and unaware. She thought about all the species in the galaxy who deserved a chance to live. She thought about the choice her ancestors had made to give up power for peace. Maybe it was time to make the same choice again. Archon, prepare the reality disruptor, but don't activate it unless I give the direct order. Understood, Captain. Preparing ultimate weapon. Sarah settled into the captain's chair and waited for her allies to return. The final battle was about to begin. 4 hours later, they came back changed. Sarah watched as 17 ships emerged from hyperspace around the Prometheus Unbound. They were smaller than her vessel, but each one radiated the same terrible power. More importantly, the alien crews who had taken control of them moved with new purpose and skill. Captain Chen, Admiral Kesek's voice came over the communication channel, but it sounded different now, confident. The knowledge transfer was successful. We understand now. We remember what the galaxy was like before humans saved us. How do you feel? Sarah asked. Like we've been sleepwalking for centuries. These ships, this technology, it's not just weapons. It's hope made real. No wonder our ancestors worshipped humans as gods. Sarah felt uncomfortable with that description. We were never gods, Admiral. Just people who had to do what was necessary. Perhaps. But you were people who could remake reality itself to protect others. Elena pointed at the long-range sensors. Captain, the main swarm is approaching. Estimated arrival in 90 minutes. Sarah looked at the display and felt her breath catch. The main Devourer swarm filled the screen like a living nightmare. Thousands of world killers moved through space in perfect formation. Behind them came larger vessels, planet-sized devourers that could consume entire solar systems in hours. Archon, analysis. The swarm consists of approximately 4,000 individual vessels. Weapon yield analysis suggests they could consume the entire galaxy within 6 months if unopposed. Can we stop them? Unknown, Captain. The current fleet configuration has sufficient firepower to engage the swarm, but victory is not assured. Sarah opened the communication channel to all ships. This is it, everyone. The main swarm will be here soon. I want you all to know something before we start this fight. You're not just fighting for your own species today. You're fighting for every child who might grow up free. Every civilization that might discover the stars. Every dream that might come true. Commander Velka's voice came back strong and clear. Captain, we understand. We have the memories of the First War now. We know what humans sacrificed to give us peace. Today we fight together. The Devourer swarm dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the system. For a moment, both fleets faced each other in silence. Then the largest Devourer vessel, a massive sphere covered in spinning black rings, sent out a signal. It wasn't words. It was pure hunger made into sound. The desire to consume everything that existed. Sarah felt sick just hearing it. All ships, she ordered. Attack formation. Remember your training. Protect each other. The battle began. The human ships moved like dancers, weaving between Devourer attacks while striking with weapons that tore holes in reality. The alien crews, enhanced by human knowledge, fought with skill they had never possessed before. Energy beams that could crack planets struck dark matter armor. Missiles that existed in multiple dimensions at once exploded inside enemy ships. But the Devourers adapted quickly. For every ship they lost, they learned from the attack. Their dark matter armor shifted to deflect new weapons. Their own attacks became more focused, more deadly. We're losing ships, Elena reported grimly. 3 human vessels destroyed. The aliens are taking heavy casualties. Sarah watched the tactical display with growing despair. They were fighting well, but there were simply too many Devourers. For every enemy ship they destroyed, 2 more took its place. Captain? Admiral Keswick's voice came over the comm, strained with effort. Our weapons are running low. These ships weren't meant for extended battles. Sarah realized they were facing the same problem their ancestors had faced. The Devourers were not just numerous. They were persistent. They would keep coming until nothing was left. All ships, fall back to the Prometheus Unbound. We're going to try something desperate. The surviving ships regrouped around the massive human flagship. Of the original 18 vessels, only 9 remained. The alien fleet had been reduced to a handful of damaged ships. Archon, is the reality disruptor ready? Yes, Captain. However, I must remind you that using it will destroy everything within 1,000 light-years, including Earth. Sarah closed her eyes. Earth was 800 light-years away. Close enough to be caught in the blast. But if they didn't use the weapon, the Devourers would reach Earth anyway. Captain, Elena said quietly, there might be another way. Sarah opened her eyes. What do you mean? The reality disruptor changes the laws of physics, right? What if we don't use it to destroy the Devourers? What if we use it to change them? Sarah turned to Archon. Is that possible? Theoretically, yes. Instead of unmaking the Devourers, the weapon could alter their fundamental nature. Transform them from consumers into something harmless. What would be the cost? The same, Captain. The Prometheus Unbound would be destroyed, along with everything in 1,000 light-year radius. Sarah thought about the choice. Destroy the Devourers and sacrifice Earth, or transform them and sacrifice Earth. Neither option saved her home. Then Admiral Keswick's voice came over the communication channel. Captain Chen, we've been monitoring your conversation. We have a proposal. I'm listening. Our ships can create a hyperspace barrier. If we sacrifice ourselves, we can redirect the reality disruptor's energy away from inhabited space. The wave will hit the Devourers but miss the inner galaxy. Sarah felt her heart breaking. Admiral, that's a suicide mission. Yes, but it's what humans would do. It's what humans did do centuries ago. You taught us that sometimes the greatest victory requires the greatest sacrifice. One by one, the other ships confirmed their agreement. Human vessels crewed by aliens who had learned what it meant to be heroes. They would die to save worlds they had never seen for people they would never meet. Archon, can their plan work? Yes, Captain. If the surviving ships position themselves correctly, they can channel the reality disruptor's energy into a focused beam. It will destroy them all, but it will also ensure the wave only affects the Devourer swarm. Sarah looked at the tactical display one last time. The Devourers were regrouping for another attack. Soon they would overwhelm the remaining defenders and spread across the galaxy like a plague. All ships, take your positions. It's been an honor fighting alongside you. The honor was ours, Captain, Commander Velka replied. Give them hell. The 9 surviving ships spread out in a precise formation around the Prometheus Unbound. Sarah could see them on the view screen, small lights against the darkness preparing to make the ultimate sacrifice. Archon, activate the reality disruptor. Reality disruptor activated. Wave generation in 30 seconds. Sarah watched the countdown. 20 seconds. The Devourer swarm was approaching fast, sensing the strange energy building around the human ships. 10 seconds. The Allied vessels began to glow as they prepared to channel forces that would tear them apart. 5 seconds. Sarah thought about Earth, safe now because of this sacrifice. She thought about the alien crews who had chosen to die like humans. She thought about the galaxy they were all saving. 0. The Prometheus Unbound unleashed the power of a god. The reality disruptor fired and space itself screamed. The wave of altered physics spread outward, channeled and focused by the sacrificing ships. One by one, the Allied vessels vanished in flashes of light as the forces they were controlling destroyed them. The wave struck the Devourer swarm like a tsunami of changed reality. The massive enemy ships began to transform. Their dark matter armor became crystal. Their hunger-filled minds became curious and peaceful. Their weapons became tools of creation instead of destruction. In seconds, the galaxy's greatest threat became its newest ally. Sarah watched from the bridge of the dying Prometheus Unbound as the ship's systems shut down one by one. The reality disruptor had burned out every system on the ship. They were dead in space, powerless but alive. Archon, are you still there? Silence. Then faintly. Yes, Captain, barely. Most of my systems are destroyed, but core functions remain. We did it. The Devourers are transformed. They will no longer consume worlds. Sarah looked at Elena, who was crying quietly. They had won, but at such a cost. 17 ships and their crews gone. The most powerful vessel in human history. Reduced to a powerless hulk, Captain. A new voice came over the communication channel. It was strange, musical, nothing like the hungry screams of before. I am not sure what I am now. I was a devourer. Now I am something else. What do you want? Sarah asked carefully to understand. To create, to help. Your species has given me a gift I cannot repay. You have shown me that existence is more than consumption. More voices joined the first. Thousands of transformed devourers, all speaking with wonder about their new nature. They wanted to learn, to build, to protect the galaxy they had once sought to consume. A rescue fleet from the Galactic Council arrived 3 days later. They found Sarah and Elena floating in the powerless Prometheus Unbound, surrounded by a fleet of crystal ships that had once been humanity's greatest enemy. The galaxy would never be the same. Humans were revealed as the true guardians of galactic peace. The transformed devourers became teachers and protectors, sharing technology that helped all species reach for the stars. And on Earth, Sarah Chen returned to a hero's welcome she had never wanted. The Prometheus Unbound was towed home and placed in orbit as a monument to sacrifice and hope. But late at night, when Sarah looked up at the stars, she knew the truth.